understand that everyone is an audience of 16, but it's fine. So I have run out of travel videos to share with you, and I wanted to give you guys an update on why that is. When I headed out to drive around and film my life and be nomadic, I had gone to an eye doctor, I think in November of the year before, and he had told me that I have a cataract in my left eye. And I didn't think anything more of it because cataract's slow growing, they film over your eye, and eventually you go and you get that surgically taken care of and you're fine. So it just didn't occur to me to be a thing to be worried about. And so I went down, I quit my job, quit my house, moved into my car, drove down to Houston, Texas to see my family for Christmas, and ended up staying in Houston a lot longer than originally had intended due to I was trying to pull the back seat out of my Prius and put in a sleeping platform and some other additional build related things, and it took longer than I anticipated. So I ended up in Houston for 4 to 5 months. And while I was there, I was driving for Uber Eats and DoorDash and a couple other of the contract delivery things, and I was meeting my bills. Things were going okay. Um, but it kept getting harder and harder and harder to see where I was going. To the extent that, when you're trying to work the dinner shift for those companies, you're often out driving from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. in that time frame. And in the 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. window, the last several hours got really dicey for me to drive because it was dark out, and I stopped being able to tell the difference between where the road was and where the sidewalk was. So I bajaed over a couple of curbs a couple of times. I drove through a yard one time because I just couldn't see that these things were there. So I was really upset one day, and I talked to my sister and told her what was going on. And she rightfully suggested I go see an eye doctor. And I'm like, I just saw one a year ago. She's like, duh, your eyes have gotten worse. Go see an eye doctor, you idiot. I'm like, all right, that's fair. So I did go see an eye doctor while I was in Texas, and he said your vision really hasn't changed from the prescription that you've got, but I do see that you have cataract in your left eye. You also have one in your right eye. Did you know that? And I'm like, no, I had no idea. And he said, well, let's do some additional tests. We'll find out what kind you're working with. And what he ultimately said was that I have post-capsular cataracts in both eyes. And instead of being the slow-growing gray filmy kind that you might ever be used to seeing on a person, these affect the little pocket where your lens sits, and it messes up that capsular in a way that makes your eye reflect all the light it gets within the eye socket itself, within the capsule itself. So what happens is too much light, I'm sorry, the normal amount of light comes in, but then it just bounces around inside my eye. So everything right now is too bright. When I go to like a grocery store, I can't see the top two shelves because the overhead fluorescent lighting is so bright that it washes out everything, you know, up there. I can't read the aisle signs that tell me what's in a given aisle because, again, too much light. The real problem driving at night is not if I'm the only car on the road, driving at night is actually more comfortable because there's less light to work with. But the minute a headlight comes at me, the only thing I can see is the light of the headlight, and everything else is pitch black. So driving at night has been no bueno since May. This is really cramping my ability to earn any money through any of the contract courier jobs. But also daylight driving has gotten more challenging because that light is bouncing inside the lens so much that everything has that. I don't know if you remember films that came out in like the 70s and 80s. There was this artistic shot where you would see everything in these really washed out colors, especially driving down a highway in a desert area, and they just wanted you to experience it as this wash of white and yellow. And that's kind of my whole world right now when I'm trying to drive during the day. So I can see like cars and traffic and things, but everything is too bright. I've got, not with me right at the moment, but I have a pair of yellow glare blocking glasses that I wear independent of whether I'm driving in the daytime or at night, and that's helping. Um, but it's affecting my ability to do everything at the moment. It's seeing to drive is hazardous. Seeing to create videos is, I can't see the screen most of the time. So if some of the shots have been kind of wonky, that's why. Um, Editing has become challenging because the print on the computer is so small that I can't see it. So I have to blow up the screen to large enough for me to see anything on it, plus put it in high contrast mode, which messes up what the colors of the video look like. So video editing has gotten very complicated. I've been trying to start a little cottage industry making stitch markers. I've got a magnifying uh, thing now that makes seeing what I'm doing easier, but then to do everything to upload it to any of the Sell Your Stuff Here websites, it means that I have to be at the computer for a length of time to make that happen. So getting the cottage industry going has been challenging. I'd like to get a Patreon set up that's more hours in front of the computer that I can't see because it's, light right at my face. So I'm currently um, in a stick and brick. Some friends of mine are letting me kind of stay with them. I'm not driving. Oh, I shouldn't say not. I'm driving my car as little as possible right now because I don't feel it's. I don't care that it's not safe for me. I care that it's not safe for anyone else on the road. Like, if you were a pedestrian crossing the road at night, I can't guarantee I can see you. Heck, if you're a pedestrian crossing the street in the middle of the day, I'm not sure I'll see you, depending on what you're wearing. And so it just doesn't feel safe. Now, because I'm also not really working right now, that means I have like no income right now. So it feels very homeless, destitute, and all those things I was afraid that were going to happen. Feels like those have all happened. But they didn't happen through, I didn't work hard enough or I didn't try hard enough or whatever. They all seem to have happened because I'm having a physical health problem right now. So I grew up in one of those households where you don't accept government assistance for anything. Because if you find yourself in a position where you need government assistance, it's because you're a failure as a human, as an adult, as a worker, whatever. And a part of my brain is having to deal with the guilt related to that. But I also acknowledge that I live in the United States of America where we have a messed up healthcare system and a messed up health insurance system, and that the only way that a person who is not upper middle class can afford to get any medical work done around here is to go on government assistance and let the government pay for it. Like every other citizen, I worked for decades, I paid my taxes, and I am choosing to look at this as, hey, I paid my taxes. You people, oh, and I don't mean citizens, I mean the government owes me my due for all the taxes that I paid into the system. I want my health care. Now, that involves a whole longer rant about the healthcare system within the United States. But the other reality is that if you're living the nomad van life and you're doing it not necessarily on the cheap, but if you're living kind of at the margins of what you can make on any given day, it really is the best option for getting your healthcare needs taken care of. So I am in the process of um, getting Medicaid. I've turned my application in. I'm waiting for that information to come back. The Ohio State University has a school of ophthalmology that has their own financial aid. So I have contacted them. I've started the process of their financial aid and should hear back within 15 days. And then I have an appointment scheduled 16 days from now to have them take a look at my eyes. Um, the right eye can probably wait, but the left eye is so occluded at this point in time that I physically cannot see out my left eye at the moment. I can see blur, lots and lots of blur. The number of times that I have washed my windows, wiped my glasses, wiped my sunglasses, thinking that if I could just wipe the smear off of all this, I could see. It's ridiculous because that's the thing. I'm trying to clean a grease smear off of the inside of my eyeball by wiping off my glasses, my windshield, my sunglasses, and it's not working. I mean, because that's not the problem, right? So that's sort of what the state of my life is right now. It's a giant holding pattern while I wait to see if I'm going to get financially aid approved, if I'm going to be able to get in to see an ophthalmologist. Are we going to be able to do surgery? When's that going to get scheduled? And so it's a big holding pattern. So to all the people that I had travel plans, I know I was looking to visit people in Florida, looking to visit people in Virginia, all the way up through the Boston area. All of that's very much up in the air and on hold until I get my eyes fixed. Once I get my eyes fixed, I'm back in it. I want to be back in the game. I want to be, earning my monthly keep and doing all of the artistic things and going to all the places and filming all the amazingness for you guys. But there's a little bit of a hold going on right now while I get some physical health things taken care of. My hope is that I get approved for Medicaid. In addition to my eyes going bad, my CPAP machine broke about a year ago. My I have a dental appliance that fixes where four different teeth are. That broke about 6 months ago. So all of the medical devices that I use in my day are also all broken. So my hope is that I'll be able to get my eyes fixed, get my appliances fixed, all my medical appliances fixed, and then be back on the road and living the good life. And we'll see how that goes. So just to let you guys know that I'm gonna do my best to keep to the Monday, Thursday video recording schedule and putting those videos out for you. But they're probably gonna be local to Columbus for a bit. They might be about the process of how I make stitch markers or how I do resin casting or shrinky dinks. I don't know what it's going to be, but I will try to continue to film and update you folks with what's going on. And maybe we'll do some sightseeing here in Columbus. There's some really cool places in town that might be worth seeing. Um, that's what's going on right at the moment. So I thank you guys for watching this so far, and I will touch base next time.